Okay, so we're going to be looking at some commonly used tools along here. Some we've already sort of touched on a bit. So I'm just going to go down into the top view looking down. And then I'm also going to go and just check my camera view is on parallel projection. And then, so I might choose zoom extents. Okay, that's right. I know what I was doing. Zoom extents. Let's get, there we go. So depending on where your mouse is where it zooms in and out from. So that's what I was doing wrong there. Look, if I just grab rectangle and draw a few shapes. Okay, we touched on this previously, but single click compared to double click, which then selects a face as well as the edge, and then triple click with selecting everything. So that's just something to keep in mind. But also, I guess if we want to delete certain lines, maybe we want to join these two, if you want to call them rooms, if you like, in a floor plan. Together, you have that option to do stuff like that as well. But it's worth noting that you can right click on a line, and there's a few different options. You can right click on the face, it gives you some options. You can right click on lines. One of the ones I'm just going to look at is erasing this line. Actually I'll go Control Z and undo that. I just want to check. Hide is actually what I wanted. So I'm going to do this one here and hide. So it looks like the line's not, it's been deleted, but it actually treats the geometry here separate still. So worth noting that I just hit that face there. All right, so worth noting that you've got that option there as well. All right, let's look at the next. Okay, so the next thing we're going to look at is dragging left to right and right to left. So if I drag left to right, what you'll see is the only geometry that will be selected are the elements that are completely within the box that I'm dragging. So let's have a look at what that looks like. All right, so this line, that line, and this line were completely in the box, whereas the rest wasn't. So it's only selected the items that were completely within the bounding box. Now, a little bit different, if I go from right to left and we select this, now not only will I get the items that are completely inside the bounding box, but it'll be items that are touching or associated with those. So let's have a look at what that looks like. So I did get those items that were in it, but then these faces have also been selected because they were touching the lines that were within the bounding box. Okay, so let's have a look at another option here. You get the lasso tool, and depending on the clockwise or anti-clockwise that you take this, it has a similar effect. Now, all right, so these two items were within the circle, and now if I go from this side, okay, so it's the items that were completely within it, but also that were touching those as well. Okay, so our next tool we're going to have a look at is the eraser tool. So you can just click on items or lines, surfaces. There we go. Well, it's a line that has resulted in the whole face getting deleted. Let's have a look at this one. Okay. Now the other thing with the erase tool is you can just click and hold it down, and then select multiple items to delete, and then release, and it deletes those items. So I'm just going to undo that erase. And next we're going to move on to the tape measure tool. Okay, so the tape measure tool is a really heavily used tool in SketchUp. So it's really good because you can create, well, I guess you can measure things. So first of all, you can look down the bottom right hand corner and get an accurate measurement. But then if I want to create a line or some geometry, using guidelines helps me do that. So for example, I could drive this to be a certain distance. So let's go 3,500, enter. And then I can start to use that piece of geometry or draw a line, draw a rectangle from it, or whatever I wanted. You find you use guidelines quite a bit. Now, if you do, your model might start to end up, looking pretty busy with guidelines. So it's worth noting a couple of things. One is under View, you can hide your guides. Okay, so turn them off. And then also under Edit, you can delete guides as well and clear them all. All right. One other point to mention with guides is if I go on a corner up to there, what that is, it has created a reference point for me, but it's a guide point, not a guide line. Okay, so if I want to create a guide line, there's my tape measure, T for tape measure. Yep, easy. But if I want to create a guide point, maybe I go from the corner, and you can drive those to certain distances. Okay, so the next item I'm going to look at is the Move tool, and as the name suggests, it helps us move items around. So let's have a look here, Move tool. Yep, as you can see, moves it around. It snaps to the axes as well, so that's could be helpful. So we can move these items around. There's quite a few other benefits of the Move tool, but it's worth noting that while your model has not been grouped, and grouping we'll talk about later, if you try to move elements of it and it's not grouped, it starts to go off in all weird directions and not hold its shape. So just be aware that might happen if your items aren't grouped. Again, we'll cover grouping in more detail soon. Another helpful tip is if I go to move, let's see if I can do this. I want to move, you can use it to kind of copy things. So if I grab this line and start to move it, but I hit Control on my keypad, it keeps the original line that I selected, and then I could click here and place this line, or I could drive this line to a certain distance. Maybe I want to drive it to 4,000. All right, so that's kind of handy. You can grab a piece of geometry, go to move it, hit Control, and it retains the geometry while you place the next part. So I expect you could probably do this by selecting all geometry too, and going Move, and grabbing it, moving it, hitting Control, keeping the original, and then placing it again. So an easy way to copy things.